What's up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. Nameco here, doing a fantasy football university video. Just again, a little snippet. Look at the card, click on the link, check out the Fantasy Football University app by Fantasy Smack Talk. It's going to give you a whole bunch of tips on what to do during, post, prior to the season. All right, let's get into it. This is talking about the tight ends and what you should be looking for before drafting a tight end, trading for a tight end during the season, just what we like out of a tight end. We're talking fantasy. The very first thing to look at, and it sounds pretty obvious, but is it a blocking or a pass catching tight end? Blocking tight ends are bad because they don't catch the ball too much. Now you can have a pass catching tight end that also blocks well, so that's fine. Just make sure that it is a pass catching tight end and they're involved in the offense. Next, opportunities for targets. You know, if you watch Smack Talk, I love me some targets. So key targets for tight ends are red zone targets. I love tight ends that are really used quite a bit in the red zone. So that's one thing that I like to look at. I look at overall targets, but specifically I like red zone targets. And then what I also like to see, are they the secondary option or maybe even the primary option for a team? I typically don't like a tight end that's the fourth or fifth option on a team. Why? Again, those targets just aren't there for them. As far as what team goes that they play on, I personally like tight ends that play on better teams. It's just something, they're moving the ball more, they're going to probably spread it around a little bit more, so the tight ends are going to be a little bit more involved. That doesn't mean that a tight end on a bad team isn't fantasy relevant. I just think their ceiling is somewhat capped due to that. Talking about rookies for tight ends, now this is just a little bit tough, and the reason is I don't want to blanket say I hate rookie tight ends, but it's tough for them to get on the field quite a bit because no matter what, if they're a pass catching tight end or not, blocking is a key component, and until a tight end or really any player can really pick up the blocking schemes, they're not going to get a ton of reps. So with rookies, it's sometimes a little bit tougher for them to pick up the blocking scheme, so I'm just not as big as a fan typically. In terms of age, same thing. I don't want them too young because of that blocking. I don't want them too old because of the durability. So I like the guys that, I think the prime breakout candidates for a tight end is a third-year tight end that's got a good pedigree, has got some upside, has been in the league a little bit, they pick up the blocking schemes, they can start catching the ball. But again, there's a lot of factors that go into that. So again, that's just a little bit of what we got on Fantasy Football University in terms of tight ends and everything else we have on there. And a shout out to Fantasy Jocks. Thank you so much for sponsoring these videos. It's up, Craig. And these belts are legit. Get a belt, get a trophy, get gag prizes for the losers. Shout out to Fantasy Jocks. Thank you so much. Check them out. And like I said, high quality stuff. Subscribe on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. I mean, all that social media stuff. If it's out there in the world, we got some Fantasy Smack Talk handles. Thanks, everyone.